The big news today, though, can we dive into a piece that deals with actual big news today? It isn't this guy, but the head of the Oathkeepers, one of them, was sentenced to 18 years for seditious conspiracy. Hold on. So much for the there it is. Oathkeepers founder sentenced to Stuart Rhodes. Yep, there he is. Let me find a good pic of this guy. We'll just go to the AP. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of a big fucking deal. Yeah. Hold on. This business right here. Oathkeepers founder Stuart Rhodes sentenced to 18 years for seditious conspiracy in January 6th attack. So they're flipping out because he didn't personally engage in the violence that they think, other than driving everybody there and jimmying the window for them, essentially, like that. Sorry, dude, rounding up the army and bringing the army to kill makes you on the hook for what the army does once it's there. Jesus Christ. Who the fuck do you think you are, Dick Cheney? All right. Anyways, let's check these guys.
Meanwhile, more on that breaking news. Oathkeeper sentencing just a short time ago. One of them,
a short time ago,
Stuart Rhodes, the former Army paratrooper turned Yale-educated lawyer who founded the group Oathkeepers, and the militia, is being sentenced now to 18 years behind bars for seditious conspiracy and other crimes related to the U.S. Capitol breach.
Okay, he didn't get 18 years just for the seditious conspiracy. They've got him on other shit too? Crazy. Tell me more.
The sentence was actually 216 months in prison with then 3 years supervision after prison. Quite possible, they say his estimated release date could be in the 2040s. Now, here's also what went down the courtroom. The judge not only blasted Rhodes for what he called a historic American horror and his role in it, but he also expressed a fear about what happens next after the 2024 election.
All right, let's get a reaction on this from
Let's get my mic on.
Former Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, also a Newsnet Max analyst. Matthew, great to have you back with us.
It's unfair. It's not fair. They shouldn't have done it. He's innocent. He didn't do anything except drive everyone there and go sick them.
Good to see you guys.
Well, we saw Stuart Rhodes sentenced there 18 months. Also, Richard Barnett.
Is this a problem on the right? First of all, Glenn Beck can't tell the difference between pounds and tons, and this motherfucker doesn't know the difference between months and years. I'm starting to explain. I'm starting to understand their confusion about the election. Maybe that's why they think Trump won. They don't know how numbers work. Shit.
Who is the guy who put his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk? 4.5 years in prison. Look, there are obviously issues with what these guys have been convicted of.
Obviously.
Doing. But when we see violent offenders, people who are actually convicted of shooting people, armed robbery, stuff like that, they're not getting as much time in prison as some of these January 6th.
Yes, they are.
Folks. Matthew.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest concerns. Obviously, political violence is never appropriate, and sort of the activities with which these men were sentenced certainly are prohibited under.
Certainly are prohibited. Certainly. It's excellent.
The U.S. Code. Now, that being said, I think
prohibited under the U.S. Code, but they should get a pass. Anybody with a fucking 1776 or something tattooed in his ear hole.
One of the basic precepts of especially federal law enforcement is that similarly situated defendants should get similar outcomes.
Yeah, except similarly situated in a RICO case or in a group of offenders, the guy who's pulling the strings the most or is the higher up is going to get more time than the people who were segmented out and were engaged in less shit.
And that's what I worry about in several of these cases.
Well, you should, because are you worried you're going to get a similar charge? Can we see your phone records? Could you please turn over your WhatsApp to Doc? What's up, Doc?
we've seen in front of different judges. There's a very
Yeah, they keep showing the wrong guy. It's very weird.
Disparate sentencing regime. Some are, quite frankly, sentenced for what people in close proximity to them did. Some are sentenced,
Yeah, for aiding and abetting.
For what, maybe could happen in 2024.
Because of what they said. If you let me out, I'll do it again. All right. Okay.
And the election. And so, I think in each one of these cases, obviously the facts and circumstances are very important, but,
Yeah, imagine, if you will, a judge confronted with a domestic violence case involving stalking and a violent assault on a woman, and the defendant says, yeah, I hit her, and as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to finish the job. Do you think he's going to get more time than the guy who didn't and is actually innocent, or the guy who did and says, I'll do anger management and do 3 years, and I lost control because I was on drugs and I didn't know what I was thinking? No? You don't think that's how life works at all? That's not how just everybody should just... you know what? Let's just hit a reset button. This is the great reset for January 6th. Let's just send all these fuckers home so they can start their own Ryder truck team.
Prohibited behavior and illegal behavior should be sentenced similarly. And I don't think you can run a thread through every one of these January 6 cases and get that result.
You can't. That's why the founder of the Oathkeepers got 18 years, and the other people got like 2 or 6 or 4 or something like that. Yeah. And those people, they all got a similar, but there was only like one founder, I guess, who was engaged in Jan 6 at all. And the other founders fucked off or got demoted or some shit, I guess.
It's a good note. And also there was a Texas resident who was with other rioters trying to break into the speaker's lobby. He was sentenced to nearly 7 years in prison, but his lawyer says he didn't assault any officers, much less...
He took advantage of the assaulting of the officers. He stepped over the blood and the bodies of people that were attacked. He used the force of others to enter the premises, which is true of all of these motherfuckers. I didn't hit anybody. No, you let someone else beat the fucking cop up so you could sneak in, asshole. I don't get this. I don't know why they, like Republicans with their whole like tough on crime shit that they like to sell. I don't know how they let that slide. Do any of these motherfuckers think that if 5 people show up at your house and one of them, the person in the front, kicks in the door and starts beating your wife with the butt of a gun, the other 4 just walk in, that those people are less a part of the criminal enterprise that is going on in your home than the first person who's at present pistol whipping your wife, while the other ones are upstairs looking to see if your kids are in their room. The fuck out of here. If the person you are with uses violence to enter a premises, you are on the hook for that violence, dumb fuck. Period. Otherwise, every gang could just like get all gangs would have to do if they just wanted to go on a fucking murder spree is find a minor, a teenager, 17 years old or younger, who has a mental disorder and is violent. Wind him the fuck up, ply him with drugs, send him ahead of them into a house with a loaded gun and wait for the number of bullets that he's got to run out, and then follow him in and go, we didn't kill anybody. Jesus Christ, we brought a mop and some bags to steal the money.
Threaten anyone with
ask him about Charlie Manson, exactly.
Any violence during or after that day. So 7 years. I don't.
Christopher Grider also tried to shut off the electricity at the U.S. Capitol. All right. That's this dude. Christopher Grider, the Central Texas vineyard owner who claims the government misinterpreted his intentions after he entered the U.S. Capitol, was sentenced to just less than 7 years in prison for his role in the unprecedented insurrection. Colleen Collar-Cotterly, the judge, wow, sentenced the 41-year-old to 83 months in federal prison. She also ordered him to make $5,000 in restitution for the damage he caused the iconic building. He has 3 sons and a 3-week-old daughter. Was seeking a prison term in the range of 18 months. You just shop around. Who doesn't shop around for? What kind of some appetizer probationary things, and then for your main course, what kind of prison term would you like? Grider, whose wife, Grider's attorney said he expects to appeal there. This is a sad day, he said. Stress Grider did not assault anyone, much less threaten anyone with violence before, during, or after that tragic day. In court pleadings, government prosecutors sought the higher sentence in light of severity of Grider's conduct, his complete lack of remorse, his continued obstruction by lying repeatedly under oath at trial, and the need to deter Grider and others. There he is with his "Don't Tread on Me" flag. I wonder if he put it on Rosalind Boyle. Let's see. Civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, destruction of government property, remaining in a restricted building or grounds, engaging in physical violence in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct in Capitol building, and an act of physical violence in the Capitol grounds or building. Owner of the Consistory Vineyards trial, he denied he entered the Capitol building with thousands of others with the intention of trying to halt the formal certification. He claimed he and a friend traveled from Central Texas to Washington merely to show support for Trump. He said he got caught up in the political furor as the crowd marched towards the Capitol. Argued Grider did not break into the building, but walked through an open door. Yes, that was opened with violence. Fuck you. You did not see that they were beating cops, you dumb son of a... All right, that aggravates me. That's... Grider could see on Capitol surveillance video wearing a "Make America Great Again" cap and a yellow "Don't Tread on Me" flag tied around his shoulders. He was also seen on video handing a hard hat to a man who used it to break a window in a door to the speaker's lobby. So, okay. He let other people do the violence for him. He got an executive sentence. How about that? Grider was standing a few feet away from Capitol when a Capitol police officer shot and killed Ashley Babbitt as she tried to climb through the window of the lobby door. The judge, however, noted that the trial that Grider was a leader, not a follower, during the insurrection in which more than 100 police officers were injured. Government prosecutors know that Grider was tear-gassed by Capitol Police before he entered the building. It should have deterred him, but it did not. Through the Senate wing door, less than 2 minutes after the Capitol was breached at the location. And he was in a hurry. They alleged Grider also helped other riders dismantle police barricades, including at least one that was used as a ladder. As Grider made his way up the stairway, he repeatedly turned around to beckon the mob forward. Once on the Upper West Terrace, Grider picked up a discarded Capitol Police helmet. Once inside, Grider zeroed in on a utility pane where he tried unsuccessfully to cut the power to the Capitol building. This motherfucker tried to cut the power to the U.S. Capitol. Grider urged others to, quote, use your Kevlar and use their helmets to break out windows. Mayor countered also in pre-sentence motions that government prosecutors mischaracterized Grider's motives that day and said a sentence that high range of guys was, quite frankly, would be tragic. No. You know what would be tragic? Thinking you can enter a building as cops are being assaulted and be cool with it while you have a new baby at home. Or your wife is pregnant. You fucking lunatic. Despite that, he's a good sense of mind. After he was pushed beyond the officer and moved. Mayor said Grider apologized to an officer for pushing against him and warned other riders that the officer was going to get hurt. But after he was pushed beyond the officer and moved into a more open area of the building, as the court also recognized, he shouted, "Stop the steal!" So within a matter of minutes, he went from expressing concern for an officer to joining the mob in their calls to challenge the election results. More evidence of the back and forth in his mind, Mayor's motion states. But in his greatest regret of his entire tragic day, will not be not listening to that inner voice that wanted to act in conformity with the law as he had for most of his life. Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like those fucking shooters. They're all lawful gun owners until the very second they pull the fucking trigger.
I don't even know if they have the money to appeal these cases as well, Matt. So it's kind of like...
Something about don't do the crime if you can't do the time, I guess.
If you were there and you're caught
up
in this, not assaulting anyone, 7 years does seem a little bit harsh there.
Tried to cut the power to the fucking Capitol building. Tried to cut the power on the Capitol building during an insurrection. He tried. He assisted in the violence getting in. He benefited from it. And then once inside, he was part of the mob that was going to, quote, stop the steal, meaning they were going to arrest the circumstance there. That's proof that he was going to stop the proceedings. And part of that, he was going to shut down the power at the Capitol building. Yeah. So all the electronic locks, all that stuff, that all goes off. God knows what other things happen at the fucking Capitol if you try to cut the power off, as far as like nuclear fail-safes left over from the Cold War or some shit.
Yeah, and this particular individual, I guess, is the one that comes to mind for me, especially where, you know, he was in close proximity to people that were doing violent behavior, but he
was stealing criminal valor from other people around him.
There's no evidence that he did anything violent other than just be in the general area or close proximity to people that were. And so, you know, these are the
fuck off. Like this, I mean, there's so many. Your Honor, I didn't shoot the guard. I didn't tell everybody in the bank to get on the fucking floor. I didn't strap bombs to them. I just carried the bags of money out. I just brought the note in, and somebody else held a gun to her head while I said no die packs. And then I attempted to walk out. I was there with the purpose of taking the bank's money, but I didn't actually speak.
The types of things where I think federal judges sometimes, because they wear the black robe, because they're appointed for a lifetime on the federal bench, sometimes
they might actually take this shit seriously beyond just a congressional term length.
Sometimes they're a little detached from reality.
Not in this case, however.
All right, Matthew Whitaker, great.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you 3 people who are detached from fucking reality.
Good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
All right. Thank you both.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Anytime you need me to apologize for somebody that stepped over an unconscious police officer to go ramble some maggot bullshit in the Capitol Rotunda again, you give me a call. I'll be sitting here in this fucking woodshed between 2 flags. Oy.